kick it away, and that last score took a little oomph out of this crowd. Just unloaded on that kickoff. Don't have to worry about a return on a kick like that. They'll bring it out to the 25. To the air, it's Aguilar. And that pass incomplete. The defense got a hand on it.
Yeah, I just feel watching this offense, they need a big play. They need their confidence to get going, get the mojo going, considering they really struggled their last time out. They just don't seem to have figured it out quite yet here in the first quarter.
Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. From the gun, running back gets to give. They almost got a first down there, stopped a yard short. It'll be third down.
It's got to feel good as an offense knowing that early in the drive you can turn around, hand it off, get a push up front, and go get positive yardage.
And the Vols come to the line on third and short, looking to keep the drive moving. To the ground and try to pick up the first. They thought they could just run it on third and short, but this defense was there to make the stop. Man, what a spectacular play by that defensive end to come up with the tackle there.
And you see those guys get off the football so fast. Most of these guys are 250 to 275 pounds, but they get off the ball fast, low. And the offensive linemen, they have no chance to stop those guys as quick and as fast as they are.
Some of this, they'll go to the Wildcat formation here. On the direct snap, it's Johnson. Now sliding to his left. Defense played the Wildcat very well on that one, stopping them for a short gain. We thought we'd see a little Wildcat formation in this spot, and here it is. He'll pull it down. Turning on the Jets. They finally make the stop, but the defense out of sorts against that Wildcat, and they give up a big play. Now on first down from the 43. Just a short pass to the tight end. Gets away from one, finds room. He'll go out of bounds right at the 30-yard line. A big play as this offense in business.
Love the decision-making by the quarterback there on the RPO play. Defense took everything away deep down the field, so just check it down, get it to your guy in the right flat, and let him go get yards.
Back to throw, it's Jennings. Setting up the screen. Not a whole lot of room there on that screen pass as it just never developed. The offense calls timeout. It's the second one they've used this half. First play of the period will be a second down. Looking to fire. Here's the heat. Pass rush coming after the quarterback, and they get him at the 32.
This defense needed something to happen to create some momentum back to their side. They built a deficit. QB's been very comfortable making plays. Exactly what you needed. Put some doubt in his head. Get to him. Hit him. Get physical. They get the sack on this play, and that's just what they need.
drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, he has to throw for it. And the defense gets loose, bringing the heat, and down he goes again.
And that was a big objective for this defense coming into the game. Talking to coaches, we want to keep him in the pocket. We don't want him to use his wheels. He's fast, he's elusive, can make big plays. Nice job by the defense keeping him in the pocket and getting the sack.
And they'll pat the kicker on the tail and tell him to go give it a shot. This whole play is going to see if this kicker can operate in a sea of noise. Thought he had it and couldn't get it through the uprights. He missed it. Missed the field goal, but still a 2-touchdown lead at 14.
Oh, just didn't have enough leg. It looked like he had the accuracy. It looked like it was going right between the uprights, just not enough power on the kick.
Looking to throw at Aguilar. Fires to the tight end. He stopped just a chain link or two away from the first down and sets them up beautifully here.
I'll tell you, I love the play call on first down here. You're just trying to find an easy completion, and the shortest throw on the field for the quarterback is finding your biggest target, and that's the tight end. Nice job.
Fouls through the defense. They'll make the stop at the 42. It's a pickup of 5, and that will be enough for a first down. So they move the sticks on the run. Let's see what they do with this one. They'll give it to him again. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
Well, the offensive line had everybody blocked except the defensive end. He was able to sneak into the backfield and get the tackle for loss.
Back to pass on second down. With the catch, it's Lewis. All the way down to the 27-yard line before they get him out of bounds, and this offense is threatening.
One of the things you love about this running back is not only can he run between the tackles, but he's also a weapon in this offense, catching the football.
The Vols are moving quickly down the field. Out of the shotgun, they go to the ground. Just does not like to be tackled, discarding guys and getting to the 21.
You want to make play calling easy for an offensive coordinator? Run the ball like that every play. I mean, when you can run that on first down and set up a short yardage on second down, it makes play calling easy. Every single call on that sheet is available here on second down.
Quarterback on the keeper. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play.
Phenomenal job by the defense that time, shutting down the option play. They knew they were going to see this in this game, and all week long in practice, they really focused on this assignment football, making sure the dive, the quarterback, the pitch, all taken away. Nowhere to go with the football that time offensively. The defense coming up with a huge negative play.
Got some room, headed to the goal line. Gets out of bounds after the big play, and they'll be set up in business with a first and goal.
Really nice job there of the quarterback reading coverage. He knew exactly where to go with the football and at what exact time. Timing could not have been better. They get the completion on third down, setting up first and goal.
The Volunteers are threatening on first and goal. Quarterback looks for a little space. Sneak gets it done.
And that's what makes this quarterback so dangerous, fellas. He can hurt you throwing the ball. Man, is he ever dangerous and explosive with his feet. You have got to be able to get this guy on the ground. If you don't, he has got way too much wiggle and speed. You saw it right there.
They're set to kick it off. You think this crowd's going to get loud when their defense comes on the field? Looking for blockers. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. get the snap off in time. That is a completely avoidable penalty. The quarterback just went into brain lock and lost track of the play clock. Wants to throw. It's Jennings. They'll throw it to the back on the screen. And that did not work. Defense smelled that one out from the beginning.
Now, those screen passes, I want those defensive linemen to run right up the field, and I want to throw it right over their head where I got some space and I can get my running back going. That is the opposite of what happened right there. There was no space. He couldn't even get going.
The roar of the crowd trying to fuel this defense to keep them pinned in their own end. To the air on second down. Throws to the wideout. Missed his receiver there. It's incomplete.
And how loud is it in this building? This is crazy. These fans are going absolutely nuts. And I used to love when the fans got involved, and I'm on defense because it messes with the snap count. It messes with the communication, and it can really rattle an offense.
Neyland Stadium alive. A cauldron of orange noise on third down. Looking to throw, and he needs a chunk play. Takes a shot as he lets it go. And that one's incomplete. They weren't just trying to move the chains. They were trying to move the scoreboard. Instead, it's fourth down. Looks as if they didn't get it off in time. It'll be a delay of game. Quarterback has to have command in those situations. You cannot afford a penalty like that deep in your own territory. And the Mustangs line up to punt it away. 3 and out. They got stuck in reverse. They hope the punt can bail them out. Oh, he can't get it out of there. It's blocked. And they got him for a safety.
You could tell the defense smelled it. They knew exactly where they were on the field, put the pressure on him, got him down in the end zone. Safety, baby.
Makes the catch. Wants to make a move upfield. Looking for a man. It's Aguilar. Those two not on the same page. It's incomplete.
Yeah, and you don't see very many quarterback hits on screens. You know, the offense wants to bluff real quick and make it look like pass, and then the quarterback's supposed to pop up, look like pass, and quickly get rid of it. You could tell timing all wrong. It was all jacked up, and that play went absolutely nowhere.
Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on second down. Pulls and fires it complete to the right. The 42-yard line. First and 10. Wants to throw on first down. Caught in the backfield. It's Lewis. Turning it on. And he's brought down after a nice gain. They've done a really good job identifying mismatches, and they find one out of the backfield there.
Reese, I really don't think it's that hard. My guy is better than yours. Find the matchup across the field. Running back's got some speed. Get it in his hands quickly. Throw it to him fast. Let him make somebody miss against a slower guy that's usually a linebacker.
Motion from the wideout. Making side adjustments here. Looking downfield on first down. Looking to take a shot. He caught it! He gets it in! Touchdown, Tennessee!
And I just love the execution by this offense. Late in the half, man, you want to take the lead. You want to get that momentum on your side, and they do it. They finish it with the passing game. I'll tell you what, keep that passing game up. You can keep this lead, keep the momentum, and keep putting up numbers.
They're going to go for 2 here and try to extend that lead to a field goal. Early movement on the offense will push them back a bit. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. And perhaps a slightly more difficult attempt from the 8. Just got a little casual with it and blew the extra point. Quick work on that scoring drive, just 4 plays. And the points come on a pass from 39 yards out. Coming out with it, it's Knight. I imagine he's going to get an earful on the sideline after bringing it out of the end zone and being knocked down at the 11. Opening play of this drive comes from the 11. The DBs will back off a bit. The give to the back. Really good job making a play, getting it out to the 24 and moving those chains.
And that is just an attitude run, running it right up the middle, right into the teeth of that defense.
It's first down from back at their own 24-yard line. Might as well give it to him again. That's the kind of play that can really get you going as they get it out to the 36.
And listen, the offensive line has to do their job, but a really good job by the running back understanding where his hole is. Go hit it, get the first down, don't mess around. Nice job following his hole, getting positive yards.
Now from the 36-yard line, it's 1st and 10. To the ground with the back. And he fights his way forward, gets away from one, but not much doing on that one.
Man, not much wiggle room for the ball carrier there.
I'm not really sure what they can do to try to create some space.
I know. Block better. How about the offensive lineman push some guy backwards and make some holes?
Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. These corners backing off a bit. Rushes on him. Blasted as he lets it go.
The offensive line has got to give him at least a little bit of time to survey the field. He had no chance that time, getting hit almost immediately after he got the ball.
The noise reverberating off the checkerboards in Neyland on 3rd down. Looking downfield, it's Jennings. He hurls one deep down the left side. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers.
Well, they hooked up already once for a score today, so the quarterback's going back to him again deep down the field, but it falls incomplete.
Solid punt, headed toward the sideline, trying to make it tough to return. Enough time to get off a play before we head to halftime. Wants to adjust the pattern. They weren't able to get that one off. It'll be a delay of game. Offense took a little bit too much time at the line there. Time dwindling away as they try to put points on the board right before the half. Looking to throw. Pocket breaking down. And the pressure gets him back at the 8-yard line. That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update. The Mustangs will kick it away to crank up the second half. That ball skips through the end zone. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 25-yard line. They'll put this one in play first snap of the drive from the 25. Starting this third quarter on the ground. Tackle is made at the 28 after a pickup of 3.
And a lot of times you want those big plays. You want those splash plays, but sometimes you're going to take some losses. You're not going to run the football overly well, but if you continue to run it, you can at least create some balance. You at least have the threat of it. Otherwise, you're just going to abandon it, and now it's just going to be a passing game.
Looking for space. It's Lewis. Got the first down and more. And an explosive play has him on the move, and he gets it all the way to the 48-yard line.
This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. If you've got the lead in the third quarter and you want to keep it, you got to bleed the clock. Best way to do that, run the football. And you're now seeing this offense call these run plays back to back. They are trying to be physical, and they're trying to stay on the field.
Leaves it with the running back. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball.
Man, when you go into the half and you're down, like that speech is usually pretty fiery. A lot of words you can't use on television. And so this coaching staff probably challenged their guys, and I like the way they started this second half so far. Physically, flying around, doing a great job stopping the run. They got to play like this the rest of the game.
Motion from the wide receiver. Softened him up with a run, and now to throw. Takes a hit as he fires. Can't make the connection. The pressure there caused the missed timing.
He didn't have a whole lot of time to get rid of that one. The defense was all over him right after the snap. No wonder that thing fell incomplete.
And the Volunteers are in a mess here on 3rd and a mile. To the air, it's Aguilar. Pressure coming. He rifles one deep down the middle. And they can't hook up on the big play, and that brings up a 4th down.
3rd and long situations are really hard to convert. The defense knows it's going to be passed. The pass rushers are getting upfield. You're under pressure. You don't have timing. And as a result now, 4th down.
Punt is on its way. And nobody able to field that punt as it rolls out of bounds. opening play of this drive comes from the 26-yard line. Fires to the big fella. And that corner came in hot despite knowing that he was giving up some size.
I think that time offensively, you're just trying to take what the defense is giving you, right? They're playing zone coverage. You got your big fella just working right over the ball. It's an easy pitch and catch. Just take the profit and let's keep going.
Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. Wants to go up top. Unloads to the wideout. And that's going to fall to the ground incomplete. That was a physical matchup there. 3rd down coming. And now let's see if the offense can bail itself out after the 2nd down misfire. Back to pass, it's Jennings. Fires to the wideout. Oh, they really could have used that catch there. Physical pass defense. It brings up a 4th down.
One thing this defense always talks about is getting off the field. Last drive, they forced a punt. Here on 3rd down, what a great job flying to the football, getting a hit, forcing an incompletion. They may be jogging off here soon again.
And he'll work his way on the return out to the 35-yard line before he stopped. First play of this drive comes from the 35-yard line. Pulled and finds his man on the left. Makes the grab, but not quite enough for the 1st down, but a good gain on that play.
My old coach said you'll never go broke taking a profit. Take what's there, take the positive yards, and never complain.
And the Vols can really attack on this 2nd and short. On the move, it's Lewis. They get this sophomore on the ground, but he continues to make plays.
These running backs nowadays, they're built so low to the ground, thick and compact, but fast and shifty. They're just so hard to tackle. And you can see he just does a great job breaking tackles, breaking tackles. He does this consistently. That's why he's really hard to stop at the running back spot.
To the air on 1st down. Throws to the wideout. Right on the money to the outside. He dragged the toe, and how about the ball placement? Only the receiver could get it.
And I love the awareness by the wide receiver on that play because I'm not sure that route was supposed to be that deep. You got to wonder if the receiver decided maybe to adjust the route a little bit to make sure that he got the 1st down.
The give to the tailback. And this one will be stopped for no gain.
Great job and contained by this defense. And in order to do that, the end man on the line of scrimmage defensively has got to be able to set the point and force the football back into traffic. And that's exactly what happened there.
Looking to pass. It's Aguilar. Bringing the heat. They get to him as he throws. Picked off. Well, they didn't let him get loose for a big return, but he still made the big play, and they'll take over at the 17.
And I tell you what, when defenses play zone, all eyes are on the quarterback. You have a zone to drop to, but you're setting on the quarterback, reading his eyes. Great job by the defense, understanding the ball was coming out, breaks on the football, goes and makes the INT.
Linebackers trying to create some confusion. First play of the drive, wants to throw. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball.
Well, they were trying to sneak him out of the backfield that time into the passing game, but that did not fool anybody on defense. What a hit, forcing that incompletion.
Tight end in motion, see how the D reacts. Picked off. What a play to set him up. The return never really got started, but boy, he has set his team up at the 28.
And that's just excellent cover. Man, cover one, nowhere to throw the football. Look at everybody playing man across the board. You still got the safety in the middle of the field. Nobody open. And if I'm the QB, man, I don't need to force it. I don't force it in the tight windows if it's not there. He throws it, unfortunately, gets the interception. Bad decision by the QB there. In football, you hear the term quick, but don't hurry. And you can tell when you run these RPOs, the QBs want to make that decision quick. And I think he hurried it a little bit too much. Got the ball out quick, but obviously was inaccurate with his pass.
They're dealing with a 2nd and long. Here's the handoff. There was just nowhere to cut back. Great job by the defense, and he'll have to take the loss.
They're trying to run the football. There's just nowhere to go for the ball carrier inside. He tried to bounce it to the outside. That linebacker way too fast. He met him there and forced the TFL.
And, guys, they really need to make something happen on this 3rd and long. Looking downfield, it's Aguilar. Unloads to the wideout. He's got an open man. And he's finally ushered out of bounds, but not before. He makes a good gain.
And that's a huge 3rd down conversion by the offense there. It's 3rd and long. You've got to lead, not by a lot. Quarterback, though, very poised. Reads the coverage, throws it in rhythm, and you stay on the field.
They'll try to run it in. Touchdown ball! And they take it in for 6 more points. When you're handed a break with unbelievable field position like that, you better finish the deal, and they did.
You saw the quarterback jog on the field. I think he gave a high five to every one of those players coming off that just put them in position to go score that touchdown. That QB knew this was a golden opportunity, and boy, he took advantage of it.
Kickoff unit is out there again, and this crowd is feeling themselves after that last drive. Fielded in the end zone, it's Knight. Not nearly as much as he'd hoped when he brought it out of the end zone. He'll be stopped at the 15. Good news, I guess. A lot of room to work with as they start this drive from their own 15. Looking to throw on 1st down. That's caught. It's Hudson. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few.
I love offenses and quarterbacks that are willing to take the easy stuff. Take those easy throws that are guaranteed to get positive yards. Yeah, I'm going to take big shots down the field too. But don't forget, it's easier to pick up 2nd and 5, 3rd and 5 than it is when we start getting those long yardage situations.
He'll get it up to about the 32-yard line before he's stopped, and it'll be 1st down. These guys have staggered around a little bit in this one. It would be a really good time to get things going if they want to hold off the upset bid.
But they're the favorite for a reason, Reese, and they've got the playmakers on the field. They're only one play away from completely changing the momentum in this game. So the underdog, David, they've got to keep playing at a high level.
And they're the underdogs for a reason. So they've got to have some things go their way. They got to catch some breaks. And all they want to do, continue to fight, continue to hang around as long as possible and stay within a play or stay within some kind of big game-changing momentum play.
So the final period starts with a 2nd down play. Leaves it with the back. And he's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage by the big defensive tackle.
Yeah, this offense has to find a way to run the football, and they got to get more creative or whatever that looks like for this offense, something to jumpstart them because nothing really going on the ground.
Yeah, defensively, though, you got to give them credit, too, because they knew that physically they were going to try to be challenged up front. That was a big MO for this offense coming into it. But the defense, they've risen to the occasion. Their front seven has dominated this entire game.
Caught near the sticks. It's Hudson. That'll be enough for the first down, and they'll mark it at the 48.
Well, look, that wasn't a touchdown, but that was a massive play for this offense. They needed some momentum. They needed to find a rhythm, and what better way than converting on third down. Awesome job by the quarterback getting through his progression.
To the air, it's Jennings. Working that left side now. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there, still a bit short of the first down.
Guys out of the backfield now, it's not just run the ball downhill anymore. You got to be versatile. I got to be able to trust you in the pass game, and I got to be able to throw you the football. You can do that right there. I know you're going to catch it, and I can depend on it.
And the Mustangs can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. Just going to keep it after the snap. Oh, he's got some space. All the way down to the 27-yard line before they get him out of bounds, and this offense is threatening.
Well, this guy's a weapon, throwing it and running it, and you know he's going to try to hurt this defense with his legs.
It puts so much stress on the defensive line to chase him and the fact that the play is extended so long.
Yeah, if they've got a spy defensively, if someone's athletic enough to run with this guy, that's going to be maybe a sound move moving forward schematically.
Looking to throw on first down. Here comes the heat. Incomplete thanks to the great defensive pressure there that sort of threw them out of rhythm.
Nice job by the defense there, taking all throws away from the quarterback. He had nowhere to put that football in the field to play, so that ball obviously had to go out of bounds.
2nd and 10. He'll throw again. Pass is incomplete, and by this stage of his career, you'd think a junior quarterback might take a little better care of the football.
And if this offense wants to get back in this football game, I think they're going to see a lot of this. Defense playing a little bit more zone, conservative, great eyes on the quarterback, breaking on the football, batting the ball down. They're going to force you to throw the football down the field.
They were really starting to put a drive together. After a couple of incompletions, now they need a big play on 3rd and 10. Back to pass, it's Jennings. Got his man downfield. Touchdown, SMU! And they add 6 more to the board with that trip to the house.
And just a really nice throw. Really good touch towards the sideline on that corner route. And the receiver does a nice job catching the football and immediately getting up the field, getting in the end zone for the big touchdown.
They got the touchdown, but still a 2-point conversion short of tying it up late. And that one's way too far for everybody.
Well, at this juncture in the game, that was 2 points they needed to have to tie this one up. Now, there's tons of pressure on the defense to get the ball back to have a chance to win.
On the run from inside his own 5. And the coverage team able to wrestle him down. First snap of this drive will come from inside the 15 at their own 14-yard line. Gonna run it. It's Lewis. And that's a very productive first down play and bringing up 2nd and 3.
Late in football games, I have a plan. I want to run the football. I want to put my quarterback in great situations if I do throw it. Low risk, keep that clock moving, get a few first downs. And if I get a few first downs with that clock moving, I get the W and get out of here.
The Vols with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. They'll try to keep this clock moving on the ground. And he'll lose yardage on this play. Loses 2 yards. Great job by the defense.
All right, so I know the defense is going to be aggressive, right? They got their stop. They forced a 3rd down. How aggressive does the offense want to be in response? Because if I throw the football, get a first down, I can run this clock almost out. This defense has to make a choice, but this offense, how aggressive do you want to be?
Quarterback may change this route. Dropping back, it's Aguilar. Trying to set up the screen. No siree, not this time. The defense was there and ready for that one. The Volunteers send out the punt unit.
And listen, that's not a surprise. Obviously, they want to throw the football on 3rd down to try to get a first down, but it got absolutely nowhere. Great job by the defense, rallying up and actually getting a tackle for a loss.
Looking for running room, he'll get it to the 43-yard line before he stops. Good field position here as they start this drive from their 43. Wants to go up top on first down. Finds the tight end. Stopped at the 47-yard line, a 10-yard gain, and they'll move the markers.
Man, this is really good complimentary football so far. Like, you're down in the 4th quarter. Your defense has to get a stop. They get it, and I love the first play. We continue the momentum. Nice play on first down. Got to put this drive together. Got to get some points.
They'll give it to the back. He's going to lose a yard on that one.
How frustrating is that? You're that running back. Where were you supposed to go? There was absolutely no lane for him on that play.
Lining up in the Wildcat. Let's see what they've got. Takes the easy one to the back. And the Wildcat is not working. They knock him down behind the line.
Defense not fooled there in a 2-minute situation. This offense trying to go quick game, trying to catch some blocks to see if they can spring that guy. But the defensive pursuit just too good on that one.
Stepping up to help this defense on 3rd down. To throw, it's Jennings. It's picked off, and they ruin the drive with a turnover. Going the other way, and he's got room. Running inside the 20. Touchdown, Volunteers! And what a turn of events as this defense gets the pick 6. What a play by this defense with the pick 6.
And how about the defender? Exactly what you're supposed to do. Breaks on the football, makes the interception. Everybody on defense, we turn to offense. Go lay some blocks so my guy can get it and take it back to the house.
He'll bring it out. It's Johnson. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. They'll get this drive going from the 17. going right to work up top. Here's the pressure. Can't find his man as he took a shot trying to deliver that football, and it'll be second down.
I love that play call by the offensive coordinator. Your quarterback just threw a pick six. You want to pick him right back up, right? So don't handcuff him. On the very first play of the next drive, let him throw the football to try to reestablish a rhythm and reestablish some confidence. Obviously, that one falls incomplete, but they need to get this guy back into a rhythm. The only way you do that is by throwing the ball.
Throwing the comeback looks like such a simple throw, but the timing is so important.
And as a quarterback, man, this is all about trusting your guy. You know exactly where he's going to sit it down. You anticipate.
Going to take a shot. Catch inside the 30 and still running. His defense giving up ground as he's finally knocked down at the 26.
And that is the exact opposite what this defense wants. When you have the lead, you can't give up an explosive play or back-to-back explosive plays. Play the coverage where you've got multiple eyes on the quarterback, dropping back, not giving up the big play.
He's not afraid to go deep. And they won't make the connection, looking to make a big play there.
I understand the sense of urgency for the offense now because you're trailing here by a lot in the fourth quarter, and you're just trying to take a shot to see if you can get on the board and get some of this momentum back. But the problem is the defense understands that, so they're playing coverage, and they're doing a good job.
Fires toward the end zone. Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch.
Well, they're not able to hook up on that throw, but they need to score now. At this juncture of the game, this late in the game, they need a touchdown, they need an onside kick recovered, and they need to score again if they're going to win. The sense of urgency is just off the charts.
Neyland Stadium, alive, a cauldron of orange noise on third down. Just keep slinging it. Got it in the middle. It's Johnson. That'll be enough for a first down, and they've got it at the 16-yard line.
Well, it's a nice play design there. You're getting the running back involved in the pass game. Quarterback gives it to him early so he can go to work upfield and get the first down.
They're in the red zone, and they'll pass it. Under fire. And he was hit just as he was releasing the pass, and it falls to the ground incomplete.
And the quarterback gets hit again. We already know this defense has gotten home to him multiple times in this game. So here you are, you're trailing in the game. Defense knows you're going to throw it. They're pinning their ears back. You can't feel very confident right now if you're the play caller, and certainly if you're the quarterback, that you're going to have time to throw.
So now it's second and long. Wide receiver going in motion. To the air, it's Jennings. Oh, they're after him. And the defense, they've got him at the 27. The offense gets a quick timeout. At this point, every second is precious. Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On third and long, he's going to have to turn one loose downfield. And this is caught for a touchdown, so hold on just a minute. We might have a finish here.
If we had any chance to make this happen, we had to score with a little bit of time on the clock. Now we need a miracle. Now we need to kick the onside, get an onside kick, and somehow, some way, make a big play.
And it's up and good as they draw just a touch closer. Now down by 2, inside a minute to go. If they can get this onside kick, maybe they could get into field goal range. And in that scramble, they're going to come out of there with the football, and they get the onside kick and take possession right back. So the first play of the drive, starting here from the 45. They'll start this drive going to the air. Going to try to pop one on the screen. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
And this defense is all over the quick game right now. They're up in possession, and they are tackling and they're pursuing the football. Nice play on that one.
Back to throw, it's Jennings. Catch in the middle, it's Cooper. All down at the 39-yard line, but he's got 15 yards on the play and a fresh set of downs. The offense uses a timeout, 15 seconds left to play. Just inside the 40-yard line. It's 1st and 10 from the 39. Wants to throw on 1st down. He just about put this game away if he'd been able to hold on to that one. Instead, it's 2nd down.
This really has been a masterclass by the quarterback with decision-making, right? We've already seen him throw multiple touchdown passes in the game. He's understood when to take his shots and when to throw it away when things aren't there, like on that last play.
What will they dial up on 2nd and a long way to go? Back to throw, and he needs to make a play. The pass falls incomplete, and there are 8 seconds left.
Well, obviously here in the 4th quarter trailing, they're going to be throwing the ball, trying to get back in this game. Couldn't come up with it there on 2nd down. We're expecting them to throw it here on 3rd.
We'll see if the offense can move the chains after that incompletion. Scanning the field, it's Jennings. A shot toward the end zone. Pass falls incomplete, and there are still 3 seconds left.
And I'm so interested to see how this young man responds, man. Like, he has been really good all game long. Put up some big numbers, but now it's prime time. It's a big moment. Can he step up in this spot, like make a big drive, make a big play for his team to maybe go win this football game?
So here we are on 4th down, and this field goal kicker is going to face all the pressure in the world. This one's not even going to be close. Missed the uprights completely, way left. It's really the most common type of upset we see every year. The home field advantage is so big, and especially when you have a ranked team come to town, they love to play spoiler.
Yes, and what needed to happen happened in this football game. Something good to happen early to get the belief and to get this crowd involved. And when the crowd gets involved, Jesse, it changes the game, and I think it had a lot to do with the outcome today.
I agree. I'll tell you, regardless whether this team is ranked or unranked, when their home crowd is like they were today, they're tough to beat, period. And you know this crowd and these fans, they're going to be celebrating this win for days and days to come.
That's going to do it from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and you've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.
Hello, I'm Desmond Howard, and welcome to College Football.
Get set! Get set! Green 25! Set! Black 24! Black 24! Ready, ready!